What's going on, you guys? In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I did this mid fade, and I'm going to be overall just analyzing my progress since the last time I cut hair. Hope everyone is in good health. Here in Germany, the economy is finally starting to open back up, so I'm finally able to get some more practice in. But I'm sure, like many of you have been doing, I've been doing a lot of research online, just trying to refine this craft. And I've even enrolled in a nice course here from the barber's table. So I got a lot of good tips and I try to implement them here in this video. Anyways, let's get into the haircut. So as you guys saw in the beginning, I started off by brushing off his hair and just kind of getting it to lay in its natural direction. Next here, I'm starting off with a clipper over comb to remove all that bulk. As you can see, my boy here has not gotten a haircut in a minute because of this whole quarantine thing. So he had a lot of bulk to remove. Usually I start off immediately with the number 2, but one of the things I learned in that course I was talking about was to go ahead and just start with clipper over comb to give the haircut its shape. Next, I take the number 2 guard with the lever fully closed, and I go up to about just below where I left off with the clipper over comb method. I take it all around and just making sure that I don't go too high up. Here I'm coming in with no guard and the lever fully closed to set my initial guideline. Here is where I actually implement some of the tips that I learned in that course, and as you can see here, I'm actually starting to set that guideline by sort of doing the flicking motion. So initially, when I was first starting, I would set a hard line. I would kind of like press a little firmly with either the trimmer or the clipper, and it would leave a real nice line, but overall in the end, it made it really difficult for me to remove that line towards the end of the cut. Another thing that I started trying was I started using reference points. And by this I mean, as you can see by the temple, I did a little bit, and then I went down to the back of his neck and I made another little point. This makes it easier for, my brain to kind of connect the lines, the 2 dots that I made with one line. And you do this on the other side as well, and then you connect both lines on the back. Like I said, here I am connecting both the left and right guidelines on the back, making sure that I'm doing that flick motion. This just makes the line overall softer and overall more manageable later on in the cut. And then once you're done with that, go ahead and remove all the bulk at the bottom. Let me know if you guys have another way of setting these guidelines. This is a new method, that I'm trying, and from what I can see, it's very easy, very doable, and it makes the cut a lot more pleasant, not only for them, but for me as well. Next, I'm coming in with the number 1 guard with the lever fully closed to create that second guideline. And here's where I can see the difference between my cuts and other YouTubers' cuts. Because other YouTubers usually go with the no guard and the lever fully open to create that second guideline. But I learned this way through one of Rum Barber's videos, and so far it's been working out pretty well for me. But I will be trying other methods here within a couple weeks just to see which one I prefer. But drop me a comment, let me know what method you guys go with, and defend your method. Let me know why it is that you go that way, why it is that you do it differently, and maybe I'll just end up picking it up. Here I'm coming in with the no guard and the lever halfway closed to go up about 3/4 of the way to just about under that guideline that we created. One of the ways that I could see that I improved a lot more is that I started using the corners of the blade a lot more. If you look at my first video that I posted on this channel, I was using the entire blade almost the entire time. The only times that I would actually use the corners of the blade was when I was detailing, which is at the very end, once the cut was basically finished. And if you continue to use the entire blade the entire time, it would just continue to make lines and just causing you to push your fade a little higher and higher every time. I really recommend the Barber Tables course. It's called the Barber System. In this course, I was able to learn a lot of things that I was able to utilize during this cut. One of the things that he talks about a lot is using the corner of the blade allows you to be more precise without fully committing. And what that means is that it doesn't mean that you're going to be pushing that line in, you're not going to be creating new lines because you're just using that corner. Here I'm simply just closing the lever all the way and using that to take out the initial guideline that I created. I'm noticing throughout this cut that I'm actually failing one of the first basics of barbering, which is just using that wrist flick motion. As you can see in this whole cut, my whole arm moves with the clipper, and I don't think there's anything like wrong with it, but I feel like it will eventually tire you out if you do this all day. Like if you actually work at the barbershop and you have many clients to attend to. And besides the fact that it just helps your arm, it also helps you master that flicking motion that you want to be doing throughout the entire cut anyways. Here I am with the number 1.5 guard, going up and connecting it to that number 2 guard and the length that we left with the clipper over comb. The next task is to go ahead and remove that last guideline, and we can do this by going with the number 1 guard and the lever fully closed and using the corners to start trying to take it out. This does soften it up, but it does not take it out all the way, so we're going to be using that half guard later to fully take it out. Like I just mentioned, here I am with the half guard, going with the lever, open and closed, kind of playing with it, and using that to remove that final line that's still left. As you guys can see, that line is slowly but surely coming out. And while you're doing this, you want to go ahead and make some mental notes of any spots that you want to, refine, or any dark spots that you want to get rid of. That way, later on towards the end of the cut, you can go ahead and take care of those. Here I'm just going back to my clipper over comb, making sure that there aren't any strays or any patches that I need to remove. We're coming towards the end of the cut, and like I was mentioning, here I am doing the detail work, and there was some slight spots that I believe I wasn't able to remove with the half guard, so I went in with the no guard and lever fully open with a flick out motion to see if I could remove it. So that's basically the end of the cut. Here I am just kind of combing the hair the way he likes it and getting it wet a little bit just to show him what the top looks like. He decided that he liked the length and didn't want me to touch it, and he also didn't want a lineup. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed, please leave me a like, and drop me a comment telling me what you think I can improve on. Until next time, peace.